Thank you, RP. Thank you so much. Thanks to CMS as well. Thanks to all of you, all the audience to take out time for this session. I'll just share my screen. RP, can you just confirm once you get to see?
Go ahead, please.
Great. So, I was asked by RP to present on how do we market to millennials. Before I start, I'll just take 2 minutes to talk a little bit about what Dunkin stands for worldwide. So Dunkin is present in 44 countries with 12,400 locations across the globe. Our biggest market is US. I take care of marketing at India. A little bit history about, not history actually, but a few facts. It's a 65-year-old brand. We sell annually around 2.3 billion beverages worldwide and 1.8 billion donuts annually. And we offer close to around 1,000 plus donut varieties across all the countries that we're present in. Just a quick background about Dunkin. Now coming on to marketing to millennials, I'll just start with one image that I got as a forward few days back. If you know the relationship between these two objects, you are old and at risk, stay at home. And I found this forward so relevant for the topic on which I'm talking to. Because if you are a millennial, if you were born at that time and if you have heard, listened to music, then this was the only option in 1980s and even in early 1990s where you could hear the music. And some of you, of course, I assume will not be able to connect the dots here. So let me just explain. This is a cassette player. It has a plastic tape inside which used to conceal the music. And sometimes the cassette player would get stuck. And the only way to fix that is to insert the pencil inside the two holes that you see in the center of the cassette player, and then rotate it. That's the only way to fix, right? So if that's the importance of a cassette player and a pencil to the people who fall in the bracket of being millennials, and that's why I thought this is such a important and relevant example. Just a quick run through. Millennials. This is the definition of millennials in Wikipedia. People who are born between 1981 and 1996 broadly are the people who fall in the millennial category. And I've taken an example of music industry, how the music industry has evolved, and basis that I've tried to explain who a millennial today is. In the 1960s and 70s, LP record was the most popular form of music, to play music. In 1980s and 90s, it was a cassette player. In 2000, CDs came and they replaced cassette player and even the iPod. And by 2010 onwards, everything was shifting towards mobile. Today, of course, everyone is mobile. So millennials are the people actually who have seen this transition from a cassette player to a CD to an iPod and to mobile phones today. And Gen Z, they do not know anything about cassette player, right? They will not even know what is it. So this is broadly how I would differentiate between both of them. And while this transition was happening, today, cassette player has been replaced with Spotify, TV has been replaced with YouTube and Facebook. Cinema halls are competing with Netflix, right? Or I should say the other way around. And outdoor is advertising with digital advertising. While this transition was happening, so did the transition of millennials shifting the gears from traditional forms of channel to the new channels. But while this was happening, not everyone shifted at the same pace or intensity. What I mean by that is, some of the millennials still prefer going to the cinema hall, of course, before COVID, versus Netflix. And therefore, while the content and channel was doing a transition, it became the dilemma of marketers was, where do you cache them? Do you cache them in the traditional forms, in the new form, in the new channels, or somewhere in between, right? That's the dilemma that marketers face today. The answer is not easy, but we at Dunkin try and stick to uh, two fundamental principles, right? I'll just talk about two fundamental principles which haven't changed, which will not change irrespective of what the channel is, what the medium is. If you apply these principles, they're very common sensical principles. If you apply these, irrespective of the channel, the content would still remain strong. The first one is disruptive content pays, right? Uh, as I mentioned, irrespective of the content, irrespective of the channel, your content, as far as disruptive, it creates a unique connect with the audience. Your content will work, right? And I'll give you two examples here. One, what we did in India and what Dunkin US did there. And I'm giving these examples from Dunkin US because the brand is at a different level altogether in US, and the kind of stuff that happens in US, relatively in India, we are yet to be there. Uh, Nestle experience, the problem that we were facing in India was India is a relatively new donut market, and it wasn't growing at a desirable pace for us a couple of years back. One of the reasons that we identified was lack of innovation. But the catch was that Indian consumers are very, very price sensitive, right? It's a very price sensitive market. You increase the price of products, your sales will take a hit instantly. And to do any kind of innovation, you require better margins and therefore better, higher price products. So how do we innovate? How do you give value addition to consumers? And while we were trying to identify the insights and trying to figure out a solution, one of the insights that worked in India was donuts are consumed, 60% of our donuts are either chocolate or variants of chocolate, right? Rest all flavors are combined into 40%, or actually decreasing now. So 60% of donuts that we sell in India are chocolate. So our solution was, why don't we join hands with India's largest and one of the most successful chocolate manufacturer, Nestle. We, got them on board, and we launched a completely new range of donuts, which was made with Nestle products, with Kit Kat, Munch, and Barwan. But the objective was not just to create a co-branded campaign with Nestle, but we priced these donuts at a premium. And these were the most expensive donuts that we had launched at that time. And what it did to us, and of course, the campaign was around an affair to remember, that two products have come together, and that was an affair. And once you taste it, these are so delicious that you will remember them for a long time. And we did a campaign around it, largely digital campaign around this. We got a lot of PR coverage around it, and the results were very encouraging for us. One, we established a completely new high-priced premium signature donuts as a category, which did not exist before this campaign. And you'll be surprised to know that today it contributes 30% of our total revenue of donuts, right? That's how significant this launch became to us. And it more importantly than what it did was, it opened up a completely new segment for us, where we could innovate again and again and again, because we have now established the category, and it gave us an opportunity to innovate every time we do something new in donuts. And therefore it was a win-win situation for Dunkin as well as for the customers. So today, in retrospect, it looks nice that we have been able to do. But when we launched it, we didn't know whether we should even introduce these donuts, because it was a big bet. It was a co-branded campaign, and it was priced at almost 30% more than our regular donuts. So it wasn't an easy decision at that time. And soon, the competition followed, and they started launching their own premium range of donuts. The second example is the Harpoon experience. Now, Harpoon, this example is from US. Harpoon is a beverage, is a brewery, actually, beer. They make, they produce beer. And it's a mid-size kind of a beer in US. And but they are known for very experimentative products like UFO beer, beer made out of beetroot, right? Very innovative products. And Dunkin wanted to disrupt the market, and what they did was they joined hands with Harpoon, and they actually launched Harpoon Dunkin Pumpkin Beer, right? Uh, Absolutely disruptive idea. The thought itself will make you think, what is it, right? And but it wasn't just one-off campaigns, because these were launched as limited edition products once a year for a limited time period. And this year is the third year that they launched. By this year, I mean last 2019 is the third year that they launched in a row. First 2 years was coffee flavored beer, but this year we have also launched donut infused beer, right? So these were made with donuts. It was brewed with donuts as well. Available in 4 flavors. Extremely good campaign. The fact that it's available for the third year in a row speaks of the campaign itself. So disruption is one key, irrespective of the channel, irrespective of the transition, irrespective of the millennials shifting towards their counterparts of Gen Z. Second principle that I want to talk about is go with the flow. What I mean by go with the flow is try and understand customers and what clicks with them, right? Often we as brands try to create our own picture, create our own campaigns, and try to impose them on customers. But what we at Dunkin try and do is try and understand what's happening with the consumers, and can we use that insight to create a campaign? Can we use that those insights to create a completely new communication with our audience? Very extremely simple example that we did in India was the selfie experience. Now, of course, we all know selfies are becoming a big, not becoming actually, they for the last 1 decade is that has been one of the social and cultural phenomena around the world. And we at Dunkin thought, how do we leverage this? How do we leverage the selfie phenomena that's going on? And what we did was, this is so much fun and interesting part. We created selfie walls in each of our stores, right? And the selfie wall had fabricated, really nicely designed, fabricated donuts put on a wall. Consumers, whosoever comes to Dunkin, they can stand in front of the wall, take a selfie, and post it on social media. And this is the kind of response that we got, right? These all are images which were clicked by audience. These are user-generated content. Not even a single penny did we spend on digital medium or anywhere, any channel, right? We just created these selfie walls across our stores, and people started, flooding social media with these kind of selfie walls. The second example is Charlie experience. I don't know if how many of you know about who this girl is. Extremely interesting case study. She is Charlie D'Amelio. In US, she is the largest followed star on TikTok. She has got 94 million followers. On Instagram, she has 31 million followers. She has got 7.7 million subscribers on YouTube. She's just 16 years of age, right? Now I think she's a little older, but 16 years of age when she started this. She now has been named Fortune's 40 under 40, and her net worth is $4 million, right? And she's a rage on digital platforms and social media platforms. And again, Duncan said, how do we harp on this phenomena that's happening? And we got it on board, right? And what we launched was a cold coffee, a regular cold coffee, but it was named as Charlie. It's a regular cold coffee with milk and 3 pumps of caramel swirl. And this was, this was pushed through a 360 marketing strategy. In our stores, we named the beverage after Charlie. She started posting images of herself with holding Dunkin coffee on her social media pages. Dunkin started pushing, and the results were phenomenal. Our cold brew beverage coffee sale rose by 20% on first day, 45% the very next day, and our app downloads increased by 57% as compared to the previous 30-day average, right? So this is the kind of scale at which if you read the insights well, this is the kind of returns that you can get. So just to sum it up, go with the flow is the second principle that we follow at Dunkin here. So yeah, that's what my presentation is all about. I hope you all liked it.